everyone to another edition of Let's Talk America with host Shana Thornton. Of course, I am Shana, on air host and executive producer for the award winning podcast program. And right now, I'm talking with someone super special and dynamic. She's out in the community at large, making a huge difference. Talking about the one and only Barbara Coleman with Connecting Henry out of Henry County, Georgia, the Peach State. Barbara, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Shana. Thank you for having me tonight.
Oh, so excited to have you on. I know, of course, Connecting Henry is an amazing organization. It's a nonprofit organization making a difference, of course,
Mhm.
again, in the Henry County area, which is a suburb right outside of Atlanta, not very far from Atlanta, Georgia itself. But let's open up with some things that I think is important for our national audience to know, because we are putting the spotlight on very hardworking and amazing nonprofits for the next couple of weeks. But tell us about Connecting Henry and what's your overall mission, Barbara?
Thank you. Shana, Connecting Henry, as you said, it is a nonprofit organization. I am happy to say that we are in our 25th year of operations in Henry County. We serve the residents of Henry County. Connecting Henry is the partner for Henry for Georgia Family Connection. There's one in every county. And our primary function is to work with families, to work with children, to make sure the children in our community are healthy, make sure that they are safe. And we have actually what's called a collaborative meeting. Since the pandemic, we are meeting on a monthly basis, and we bring together the faith-based, other nonprofits, government, the school system, businesses. We talk about things that are going on in our community, not for the sake of just talking about it, but to bring about change and bring about differences in the lives of the residents in the community.
I love that. You all have such a huge mission that's out there. Yeah, when it comes to the vision and vision and mission are often connected. But if someone is watching us right now, and perhaps they live in Gwinnett County, or maybe they live in Miami, Florida, who would you say you best serve? Ideally, if there was that audience, that target audience that Connecting Henry goes for.
Presently, because of COVID, and probably if I think about it traditionally, the audience that we serve are single women with children. These are women who cannot pay their rent. They cannot pay their mortgage. They're working. Sometimes they may not be working, but oftentimes they are working, but they are not making enough to make ends meet. These are the people that we serve the most. They contact us because they need the assistance. And this is even before COVID. They need assistance paying their rent. They need assistance to get the electricity back on or turn the water back on because they're just not able to make ends meet.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so you're saying, you said since COVID, but it's really the single mother who's working, trying to make ends meet. Tell us how COVID has impacted your services, because we've seen lots of media highlights about COVID, and a lot of nonprofits have expressed openly that they have struggled financially with donations being down as well. But how has it impacted those who you serve, that single working mother?
Tremendously. Many people do not realize the far reaching implications of COVID. The ones that were struggling before are struggling way worse than what they were before. You figure a single mom with one child, but think about a single mom with three kids or six kids. For whatever reason, she's single, that had been struggling to make the ends meet, and now her job has shut down. Now she's had reduction in her hours. Now one of the kids has contracted COVID, or she contracted COVID, and now she can't go to work. Or she applied for her social or her unemployment, but it's been 6 months and her unemployment is still not approved. These families are seriously struggling, and we have seen so many come through our doors, call us on the phone. And some of the stories are absolutely heart-wrenching because you want to help them all. We can't help them all. We simply cannot. The funding is just not sufficient to help them all. But COVID has really hurt a lot of people. And right here in our communities, in our community, a lot of families have already been evicted. During this entire process, they have no place to go within our community. Mhm.
Yeah, I happen to know that so many people look to your organization really as a resource center as well. They're saying, well, this is going on and that is going on. Tell us about some of the partnerships and collaborations, or simply the resources, if you will, that you are able to share with people. Because I know if people come to you saying they don't have the rent, or they need assistance for some families with food, how exactly does that work? I would imagine that you constantly stay in contact with other nonprofit organizations and probably some private entities as well.
Mhm. That's a very good question, Shana, and thank you for asking that question because we pride ourselves in being that collaborative partner. Collaboration is the key. Not one organization can do it all, but if you have arms that outreach to other organizations, if we had a client to call us and they may need food, as you mentioned, we will reach out to Miss K Sheets over at Helping in His Name Food Pantry. We can get an emergency food box and get that family some food. If there is a family that's staying in a hotel, we'll call Frankie Hopper with H3 Ministries, and Frankie and his team will go and they will take food to that family. If there is someone out in the streets, we have partnerships with the sheriff's department. We can get them a care package and they can actually take the food or take the toiletries to that family that's in the street. We work with Operation Lunchbox. Their motto is kids gotta eat. They will make sure that they get food to these families that are in need. And again, our primary focus, children and families, because we want them to be safe. We want them to be whole. Our mission is to make sure that families can go to bed at night in a safe, clean environment. They can cook food. They can have the medication that they need. They can have clean clothing. And that is what we do. So we have lots and lots of partnerships throughout the community. Henry County government has been a tremendous help to us during this pandemic with funding, through federal funding, through grants, the United Way, because we can't do what we do without the community support. Everything, we're 100% grants and donations.
Wow, that's so key. Tell us a little bit about the impact of COVID with your donations and grants. Has it affected you and other nonprofits as well?
Absolutely. With a lot of companies, say traditionally, if we were to receive a grant, we'll just say from Coca-Cola. Well, if Coca-Cola is being impacted by the pandemic, then their donations to us are also being impacted by the pandemic. If families are not working, they're not bringing in the residual income that they may have, individual donations are also impacted by COVID. But thankfully, we've had some success. We've had quite a bit of success because of federal mandates that have come down and federal funding that has come down. We've been able to help quite a few people. We've seen our numbers grow exponentially. I mean, it's through the roof, the amount of assistance. We're small. We are a very small nonprofit organization, but we do so much within the community to make the lives of the families better. We recently helped a single mom and she was a breast cancer survivor and she was facing eviction because she couldn't go to work. She was not per se impacted by COVID, but she had to have surgery. She had to be under treatment. She couldn't go to work. And without organizations like Connecting Henry, I don't know what that mom would have done. I don't know where she would have gone to get the assistance.
Yeah, I love it. Such great stories, reality, that
Mhm.
in testimonies that your organization has done in the lives of so many other people. And I've had the opportunity to chat and interview some of those people, and they certainly say it made a difference. And keeping organizations like you there front and center is key for everyone, and not just Henry County. Obviously, there's someone that could be
Yes.
watching us. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, but obviously there are organizations, nonprofits that operate like you all over. And I happen to believe, as a citizen at large, we have to do our part to make sure we're supporting those great organizations. Because I'm just going to go basic too. I mean, Barbara, after all, we don't know when we ourselves could
Mhm.
benefit from perhaps some of those services or assistance, or someone we love, maybe a niece, a nephew, a neighbor.
Mhm.
You don't know ever. So we want to certainly do our part, our touristic efforts as citizens at large in this world or society. I've got to ask you this before we wrap up. I think so many times people think of nonprofit during the holiday season, right? Traditionally before COVID hit, because we say, well, they're different toys drives or different things. You operate this amazing organization in the community year round. As the country and the world begin to emerge out of COVID, hoping and praying those numbers remain low, but things can get back to somewhat of normalcy, what would you say to those that are saying, well, I'll get to Barbara, I'll write a check, I'll do a PayPal donation around Thanksgiving or Christmas? What would you say? Because I happen to know all year round, you all are getting calls and requests, but what would you say to that?
Absolutely. What I would truly say, take out your checkbook. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until next week. Do it today. You just mentioned Shana, and I say this all the time. It can happen to any one of us. All it takes is a death, the loss of a job, a divorce, someone walking out the door, COVID, and it can happen to any one of us. We are not exempt. And I am so thankful that I have the pleasure to work for such an amazing organization. We put people first. We care for people. I treat everyone with dignity and respect, and we demand that we treat everyone with dignity and respect. Because what if it was my mother? What if it was my cousin, my next door neighbor? We are our brother's keeper, and we must watch out for one another. Society will tell you, they got themselves in that situation, or they shouldn't have done this, they shouldn't have done that. We're not judges, but we're here to love on people, to encourage people, to empower people, to inspire them to be the best that they can be, and to make tomorrow a better day than today.
Yeah, I love it. Make tomorrow a better day than today. So so true. I know we monetary funds is something nonprofits always strive to do all year long. Any other opportunities for community members to help? Do you need volunteers?
We do need volunteers. You mentioned Christmas. We have a community Christmas program. I believe this is our 14th year. We work with the school system, and through that program, we actually help the families that are in need. Again, most of them are single mothers that cannot provide the toys that they may necessarily want to provide for their children. So we work with the school system. They identify the children pre-K through fifth grade, and if they have a younger brother or sister at home, we put them on the list as well. So we always need volunteers for that program to come in. We decorate a space, and we have Santa's helpers, and they help the parents to shop for the toys. So that is definitely something. We presently have a program called SWAG, Students Working to Achieve Greatness. It is our GED program with at-risk youth, 16 to 24 years old. We're always looking for people to work in that program that can do financial literacy, that can do adult mentoring, occupational skills training, leadership development. So we need volunteers for that as well. We are in the process now of kicking off I don't know if I can say this, but we're kicking off a fundraiser, because again, this is our 25th year. And as a nonprofit, we live and die by funding. And so we are in need of funding. We lost a great source of funding for one of our programs this year, and we cannot continue that program without the funding. So we are having this fundraiser, a fantastic 5-day trip to the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia. We have a handgun that we're auctioning off, and a big green egg, a medium-sized big green egg. So please contact us if you are interested in those raffle tickets for that particular event. And we always have opportunities for volunteers.
I love it. Always opportunities there, monetary or volunteering. And I would imagine, I know as we come out of COVID, but there are probably some things that you can have volunteers do, maybe virtually or away from being in person, Barbara.
Well, if you're like me, Shana, I am zoomed out. I am ready to get back and to do things in person. So we will have both, however, in person as well as virtual events. We are also gearing up for an employment training. It's called Inspire Employment Training. And with this training, it's with the hope to help to kickstart the community, to help kickstart the economy in Henry County. We want to help people to get back out on the job, not just get a job, but keep a job. We want to talk about those employment skills. How do you deal with anger on the job? How do you deal with conflict? How do you work with people that are maybe not so likable? And that person may be you. So we're going to talk about these things. We're going to do mock interviews and talk about the market right now. And even through COVID, there are people that are interviewing. Well, how do you interview through a platform such as this? You need to be able to know these skills to get back out there. And so that employment training is going to kick off in the month of July, and we will follow up with a job fair. So we need volunteers for that event as well. And they can just contact us, contact me at the office. I'll be happy to give more information.
I love it. I love it. So before you go, please tell all those that are watching us, I'm out of town as well, where they can go for the website or phone number or email for additional information.
Absolutely. Our website is www.connectinghenry.org, connecting like you're connecting the dots. Again, www.connectinghenry.org. You can reach me directly at 770-288-6226. And if you need information or would like assistance with rent or mortgage, and you are a Henry County resident, please contact our office directly at 770-288-6230. And of course, you can email me, my first initial and last name. That's B Coleman, Coleman, at co.henry.ga.us.